Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Mariya. This is a channel about spirituality. Please subscribe below so we can be YouTube friends. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the energetic shape of an egg. The process of gestation, the process of calling something into being. And frankly, one of the divine feminine mysteries. So this is an interesting video that I would say is probably the closest to the video I did about the thymus gland and also the Shakti portal, because those are kind of in the realm of the divine feminine mysteries. I have been channeling a book, or shall I say a series of books on divine feminine. And the first one actually is coming out later this year in December. It's called The Rose Codes Book of Initiations. I've recently launched a pre-order on Amazon. For now, only the Kindle version that was on pre-order. That's the only thing I can do. They don't allow me to offer pre-orders on hardcovers or soft covers. So if you're interested to check out my new book, it's called The Rose Codes Book of Initiations. So in my process of channeling that book and all of its sequels, I'm on book 2 right now. There has been so much divine feminine wisdom that has just been coming through my channel that I literally just need to almost like I'm in a rush to write everything down. And one of the things that came through recently has been this concept of the egg as a means of gestating something, as a means of birthing something into existence. So partially you can think of it as, okay, like how do I manifest something into existence? How do I bring something into this reality that hasn't already existed? And one of the ways to do that is through using a very feminine shape of the egg. Now, in this video, I'll tell you how you can use the egg. I will tell you how to create one. I will tell you how the energy runs through the egg and what you need to power this energy structure. And then I'll give you just a couple of quick tips on how to work with the egg and essentially once it's already gestating, what to do with it afterwards. So that's kind of like the intention for today's episode. And again, it's one of the hidden female mysteries. Now, the egg as a proxy for life it's almost like egg symbolizing life is like a no-brainer, right? So we already know that or think of egg as a precursor to life, even in the physical world, right? We have a lot of examples where babies are birthed out of eggs. Now, there are etheric eggs or there are energy eggs that exist, and it is a whole realm of energy work. And it's a particular time of feminine magic. So a lot of the secret feminine orders of the past worked with the shape of an egg to birth everything from children that are particularly adept, call them indigo, call them next level children in terms of spirituality, to large things like projects, to businesses, to philosophies, right? So women historically, women who are priestesses, have used the shape of an egg to make things happen. So an egg is a very feminine vehicle for manifestation. An egg as an energy shape can power anything that is contained within the egg, if you set it up correctly. An egg serves as a protective shield and barrier for the time that it incubates that which is inside of it. But then when that thing is ready to be birthed, the egg quite naturally cracks or falls apart to reveal that which you have been wanting to birth. What are the ways, what are the use cases for this? First and foremost, if you are trying to get pregnant, or if you would like to bring a very beautiful baby, like a more evolved baby, like a beautiful soul, you may choose to use the energetic shape of an egg as a female, right? For the women listening to me right now. And you would place that inside of your womb. You would place that egg between your belly button and your cervix. In that area, that should be where the egg goes. But that's not the only use for the egg. Literally, anytime you want to call something into existence, you could use the form of an egg to make it happen. Whether you want to manifest a new business, Grow a new idea. Maybe you have a creative project in mind. You want to write a book, or you want to create an oracle deck, or make a painting, whatever that is. Make a course. That could be it. Or you can grow parts of yourself. As creepy as that sounds, maybe it doesn't sound creepy, or maybe it sounds strange. But for instance, say you're lacking in the courage department and you would like to grow a version of you that has courage. You can incubate inside of the egg. You can encapsulate that, the energy of courage. And you may grow that inside of an egg and then just absorb that into your auric field. Literally anything that you could think of manifesting from nothing could be brought forth with the shape of an egg. So that's the use cases, including a baby. This lore at one point was very widespread in secret female societies. And now, unfortunately, there are very few and in between female secret societies in the first place. Like there are a lot more male secret societies actually, or mixed secret societies. So a lot of that knowledge has been lost, but the energies are shifting in a lot of things that have been very lost or lost no longer. And so here's how the egg works, right? The egg as a shape has two poles, the south pole on the bottom and the north pole on the top. You can think of them as poles, or you can think of them as nodes. Our planet, just like our planet, that's a sphere. It has the south pole and the north pole. All of those flat earthers, please don't leave me hate in the comments. There are many ways to look at reality. The one comment I'm going to make on the flat earth, the answer is yes to the flat earth, and the answer is yes to the non-flat earth. All of this is true depending on the onlooker and the perspective. There are two poles. So when you're trying to create an egg, whether that is inside of your body or outside of your body, right? The only time you would place the egg inside of your body is if you're gestating a baby. If you're not gestating a baby, if you're not trying to get pregnant, you're going to be making an egg outside of your body. The egg as an energy structure is always powered by two poles, the south pole and the north pole. The north pole is the masculine pole. The south pole is always the feminine pole. The same thing with planet Earth. The north pole is going to be the masculine energies. The south pole is going to be the feminine energies. You always start building things from the south pole, from the feminine energies. The feminine pole of the egg is golden. The masculine pole of the egg is black. Let me right now, and I'm getting whiffs of energy from the collective. What do you mean the masculine pole is black? We thought that according to the yin yang symbol, black is supposed to be feminine. You guys, in order to work with cosmic knowledge like this one, sometimes you have to forget everything that you know to be true on this planet, because certain energy structures just work how they work. And you're just going to have to keep your mind open. This thing that I'm going to tell you about right now works. So just try to keep an open mind. So the north pole of this at the top is masculine and it's black. The south pole of this is feminine and it's golden. You always start building the egg from the bottom. The bottom pole, the south pole, is fueled by the golden sun. Because it's color golden, it's fueled by the golden sun. So what you want to imagine is that there's a golden sun in your vicinity somewhere in the universe, and that it is stretching a cord to the south pole of this egg that you're building. And as by the virtue of this happening, there is a golden spiral that exists in the south pole. Then that golden spiral starts to build the next thing that you need to build in the egg. It starts with the south pole, right? Literally the nod. And then what shoots up from the very top is the central axis of the egg, almost like the Yggdrasil tree of planet Earth, right? Like the central axis. So that central axis goes up like a golden stream. And then it hits the top, and the top is the black pole. The black north pole of the egg is connected to the black sun. In this particular case, we can use the central sun of the Milky Way galaxy. It is the black sun. So you want to imagine a stream of energy coursing from the black sun straight into the pole of your egg. And then essentially imagine that there is a massive amount of black energy that gathers at the very top of your egg. And then that energy goes back into your south pole, into your feminine polarity. And essentially your masculine energies that are black and they're just dripping down the central axis of the egg, they're going to power your golden your golden south pole. And then the next thing that happens with the egg is the sides of the egg, like the shell goes up and it's a golden shell. And that's how you have your egg. So essentially, the entire structure of the egg is going to be golden. The outside of the egg is going to be golden. The bottom part of the egg is going to be golden. The central axis of the egg is going to be golden. The only thing that's going to be black on top is the North Pole that is powered by the black sun. That's the construction that you need to build. So in a meditative state, you're going to have to go through the process of building an egg. Once your egg is built, make sure it's connected to the golden sun and the black sun, because those are the powerhouses that are going to keep feeding your egg. Anytime you're gestating something, anytime you're incubating something, it requires massive amounts of energy in order to grow. It doesn't grow in a vacuum. It doesn't grow from the goodness of its heart. It needs the resources, just like the baby needs to feed from the mother and the sons, by the way. One day I will make probably a series of podcasts about pregnancy and and childbirth and all of that. And what's the correct way of doing it? That day is not today. But, whatever you're gestating inside of an egg requires energy sources. And the suns, right, virtual suns, are really, really good energy sources. So once you build your egg, the next thing is to place that which you're trying to incubate inside of the egg. If you're trying to get pregnant, what you would want to put inside of the egg is a golden seed. A golden seed is a proxy for the baby. Like the fetus is going to be able, the energetic fetus is going to be able to be built up from that golden seed. If you're trying to groom or grow a business, you would imagine, essentially you would create a symbolic representation of that business. Maybe there's something in the name of that business that reminds you of something. So you would create an object and you would place that object inside of the egg. If you're trying to, grow courage inside of you, you would imagine what courage feels like to you energetically. For me, courage feels like the red fire. And I would place that inside of the egg and I would gestate it there in the egg. You may ask me, how long does this process of gestating takes? It depends on what you're growing. If you're growing a multi-billion-dollar business, it may take 9 years for that to grow. If you're growing a baby, it's faster. But usually it's cycles of 9, multiple cycles of 9. So it's, that hence the 9 month, by the way, the female being pregnant for 9 months. But it's 9 days, 9 weeks, or 9 months usually for things. I know when I say, you have to gestate something for 9 months, people are like, they don't have the patience. But depending on what you're growing, if you're growing a new world, or in your vision, sometimes 9 months is not really all that much time. Most of the things, though, are going to be able to gestate within 9 days or 9 weeks. How do you know if it's ready? In a meditative state, you would need to go and look inside of the egg. If that thing that you are gestating feels like it's ready to burst through and it has changed its shape and it's grown to what feels like the real deal, that's how you know it's ready. But it's always going to be in cycles of 9. What else do you need to do to make sure that the egg is intact? The only thing that you really need to do in the interim as something is gestating, or your manifestation is gestating, you want to make sure that the 2 suns are still powering the egg, right? The black one on the top with a cord, like an umbilical cord that goes straight into the North Pole. And then the golden sun towards the bottom that goes straight into the South Pole. If for whatever reason your cords are broken, the energy is not going to get accumulated in the egg, and you're going to have to start things all over again. How often does that happen? Not very often. Usually if you are good with the energy of the sun and solar consciousness, that does not happen. But if you're new to working with the sun, actually, shameless plug, I do recommend my book, 72 Keys to Manifestation, An Ancient Path of a Modern Day Alchemist. That is a solar book. That is like Solar Codes 101. It will teach you how to build connections to the sun, including the black sun, so that your manifestations, your eggs could be powered. And that's really it. Now, the egg is one of the most robust energetic structures you could have for yourself and you could work with. Other use cases for the egg is you can place yourself inside of the egg to groom yourself into a better version of yourself. It also feels a little bit like a winter hibernation or a summer hibernation. By the way, I don't know if you guys knew, but you're supposed to do both a winter hibernation and a summer hibernation. I digress. If you want a video on summer hibernation, please let me know in the comments. Although I guess the summer is almost over, so maybe it's bad timing, wrong timing. But either way, in the summer hibernation, your feminine hibernates. During the winter hibernation, your masculine hibernates. There are two parts of you, right? But if you are looking to groom something else inside of you, grow something else inside of you, like courage would be a good example, or I don't know, love, tenderness, generosity, like whatever you feel like you're lacking, you can place yourself inside of the egg like this with an intention of growing a particular energy inside of you, inside of an egg. And, literally imagine that you're bringing in the energy. Let's say I'm working with cultivating love. I would take love, I would place that inside of my heart, and I would place myself inside of this energy structure that is the egg for probably 9 weeks, right? Because love, if I'm starting from scratch, let's say I'm cultivating self-love, 9 days just doesn't feel like enough. 9 days can be for something smaller. If you're looking to make big shifts, you probably want to use the 9-week cycle. If you're using the 9-week cycle to gestate something, check every week. Like every weekend, if you're meditating, just check on your egg, make sure everything is okay, make sure the suns are still there, make sure everything is flourishing, it's growing, and then just leave it alone. And then when you're ready, you need to hatch the egg. Not when you're ready, when the egg is ready, frankly, or when that thing is ready, right? And so it's literally the process of coming out, the process of removing the shell. And you could use different tools, energetic tools, like the hammer, for instance, to crack the shell of the egg, but it needs to come open. It needs to open itself up. Same thing actually when you're giving birth to a child 9 months in. When the child is ready to come out of your womb, you need to open the egg so the baby doesn't have to open that energetic structure with its head. So what you would want to do is, as you're going into labor, maybe that's too much detail, especially for the male audience here, but you would you would open the egg. The egg usually opens when the baby is birthed. The egg opens through the south pole, the feminine pole, the golden pole. So you'd literally you would imagine that there is a little bit of a lever, and you would twist the lever. And then the egg literally opens like a spiral, and it creates an opening for baby's head to come through. And you definitely don't want to bypass that part of the process, right? So that is when the egg is ready. When the baby's ready, or when your project is ready, you always want to make sure that you create an opening in the egg so that something like the creation doesn't have to rapture the very tender yet very strong energy bonds. Now, this is definitely not spirituality 101. This is something more advanced, but somebody needed to hear this. I hope you guys enjoy content like this. Please let me know in the comments what you think. Yeah, let me know if you have been working with egg, and would love to hear your experience as well. And for now, thank you so much for sticking around, and bye guys. I'll see you in the next one.